Welcome to Meghan Grace DIY. My name is Megan, and I'm a college fashion and costuming professor. But I also grew up as a competitive figure skater, and that means I definitely know my way around some Swarovski rhinestones. So today's video is going to be a follow-up to a video that I posted last summer that quite a few of you have seen and really enjoyed, where I talk about all of the vocabulary and ins and outs of buying rhinestones. And in that video, we talk about one of the top vendors in the game, which is Swarovski. They are synonymous with elegance and top quality, and basically any type of performative costumes that are top level have Swarovski crystals on them. So last year, I think sometime, someone had commented on the video saying, oh, I heard that Swarovski rhinestones or flatback rhinestones are being discontinued. And I think I answered back just saying, I don't see how they would do that, because considering how many people use Swarovski flatback rhinestones, it would just seem to me, as an outsider, as a really poor business decision to completely discontinue something that so many people know and use. So I started to do a little bit of digging so we could kind of get to the bottom of exactly what is going on with Swarovski rhinestones. Are they being discontinued? What's the story here? So after I received that comment, I started to do a little bit of research, a little bit of digging, and I went to the website that I mentioned in that first video called Dreamtime Creations. Now, Dreamtime Creations is a vendor of flatback rhinestones, Swarovski beads, Swarovski other crystal elements. They're a very large, well-known vendor. And they had a statement on their website basically confirming that yes, some Swarovski items are going to be discontinued. Now, when this was all announced last summer, it was very vague as to exactly what was going on. Basically, Swarovski, due to poor business performance or whatever was going on, they decided to completely restructure their company. This happened August 2020. And part of restructuring their company was deciding to no longer pursue avenues that weren't as profitable as some other avenues. So what I think they're kind of trying to do is reclaim their brand and make it a little bit more exclusive and a little bit more synonymous with luxury and exclusivity and things like that. So they put out this statement that they're crystal elements, which basically means flatback rhinestones, your crystal beads, your rivolis, like any of those items were going to be discontinued, at least to the DIYer. So they're not going to be in Joann's anymore. They're not going to be available on Amazon anymore. You're not going to be able to just go to a store and buy some. So this was a statement that was on Dreamtime Creations website. There's less than 1 month left to order discontinued items from Swarovski's discontinuing list. Any items ordered after the end of January may not be available anymore. Discontinuing, this list of crystal articles is still available now, but will be discontinued from production before spring of 2021. The deadline to order any of these items will be January 31st, 2021. Now, they have a spreadsheet on their website of items being discontinued. So I opened that spreadsheet. I immediately looked for a flatback crystal AB20SS, because that's the standard crystal that goes on like every dress that sparkles. And that was not on the list. So I was like, all right, so are they not discontinuing everything? Where's the rest of the story here? All right, we continue on. So my next step was to reach out to Swarovski, the company itself. I said, maybe they can offer me a little bit of clarity. And they have a website, they have part of their website about this, but I wanted to get an answer directly from them. So I emailed them, basically asking, what's the situation? Is the entire flatback rhinestone line being discontinued? Can you please offer some clarity on the situation? So I'm gonna read to you guys the statement that I was emailed back from Swarovski, and I'm also gonna put it on the screen. In 2020, Swarovski had its 125-year anniversary, and we feel the highest appreciation and gratitude towards all our customers for being part of this success story and creating a more sparkling world with our crystals. At the same time, we had to acknowledge that the retail and manufacturing environment has undergone some fundamental changes, and that economic realities are demanding for a change. Swarovski had to embark on an extensive transformation program, merged its B2B and B2C, business to business and business to customer, businesses, and will follow one vision, one strategy, one organization approach from now on. Over the past, we have been reviewing all fields of activity worldwide to ensure that they are in line with the new strategic direction and economic realities. More than ever, Swarovski wishes to protect its individual brand character and avoid confusion in the marketplace as the nature of and branding of products. Swarovski will continue to offer sustainable and precision cut crystals to B2B customers, but will be working with a limited number of wholesale customers, manufacturers, and application center in a much closer collaboration in the future. Now, it's a very fluffy corporate answer, but basically what I'm gleaning from that is they are not completely discontinuing the crystal elements, but they're going to start limiting who actually has access to them. Again, trying to up the exclusivity of their brand. Which again, to me as an outsider, I don't know what's going on in their business by any means. I've never run a large business like that, so I can't even begin to fathom what went into the decision making of that. But having grown up in the figure skating world, I've made costumes for ballroom dance, I've made costumes for gymnastics. Swarovski's a big name. It's a really big name. And I have this very, very, very vivid memory of when I was 12 years old. My dad and mom took me to the local skate shop for my first competition dress. And it was a cranberry velvet, and it had a chiffon bow across the back in cream. And on that bow, there were 8 crystals, 8 Swarovski crystals. Crystal AB, of course. And like, that was big. That was a huge deal for me as a kid. Like, oh, I'm getting Swarovski crystals on my dress. Like, it was such a big deal. Like, obviously now that I'm older, I realize they're not that expensive, but they are pricey when they start to add up, 8 crystals on a dress. But I was really, really pumped, and I definitely remember getting that dress, and I felt like a real figure skater when I brought that dress home. So again, I was a little bit confused. So what I decided to do was to reach out to some vendors to see if I could get some clarity on exactly how they were moving forward, because I started to think of vendors like Del Arbor. They're a huge figure skating dress company in Massachusetts, and they service one of the best synchronized skating teams in the world, the Haydenettes. And so they're making 32 dresses a season for this team, for the short and the long program. And I heard this on the streets. I don't know if this is a real thing, but I've heard their dresses cost about $10,000 a piece. So are they like not gonna have a $320,000 payday now? I was just confused because I don't see how these really large vendors are gonna handle this. So in my digging, I don't wanna like blow this person's spot up, but I did hear back from one of the top designers in the ballroom dance community, and what they told me was Swarovski had a really big issue with a lot of vendors not paying their due balance because of all the things that happened last year. And obviously everyone took a huge financial hit. These companies that were designing costumes were not anymore, because figure skating, ballroom dance, gymnastics, those are all contact sports, and we weren't doing them for a very long time. There was no competitions, there was no practicing, like it just wasn't happening. So not only were these companies that make the dresses not having any revenue in, they didn't have anything to pay Swarovski with. So that's one thing I heard, is that really was a big hit for them. So to kind of cull the list of vendors that they deal with, they decided to kind of restructure so they'd be only dealing with more reputable businesses, ones that they knew they could depend on an income from, which, fair, I understand that. So then I got an email back from a company called Harmon Beads, and they are a wholesale realtor of Swarovski creative items. So not just the flatback rhinestones, but they do crystal beading, they do any of those DIY crystal elements. And they said, feel free to give us a call. We will clarify for you what the situation is. So I was like, oh wow, that's very nice of you. So I was like, I'll give you guys a shout out in my video. I'll put their website in the description below. So when I talked to the very, very lovely agent this morning, basically what she told me was that Swarovski is, like we stated before, taking their number of wholesale realtors that they deal with and really shrinking it down. So they're not discontinuing flatback rhinestones. They will still exist, but who's going to be able to distribute those flatback rhinestones is a very, very, very small list. So they're still going to be out there, but it's going to be like, for me and you to go to Joann Fabrics, we probably won't be able to get them anymore. It's going to be basically large businesses like those figure skating companies I was talking about before, who order mass quantities of Swarovski crystals. And I confirmed that with her. I said, so basically only businesses can come to you to buy. And she said yes. And it's like, I wonder, because I have a business license for this channel, like, could I purchase them? But, you know, I don't know. If I come to that bridge, I'll let you guys know. But here's where this whole tale gets a little interesting. Just because this whole time I've been like, it makes no sense. It doesn't make sense to me, because Swarovski's such a big name in costuming that why would they depart from that industry? So what she told me was that yes, they are still going to be able, they're one of the businesses that is still going to be able to sell wholesale Swarovski crystal elements, but if you are a business purchasing from them, you have to sign a contract saying that you will not disclose that you are using Swarovski crystals. You are not allowed to say figure skating dresses with Swarovski crystals. You are not allowed to say made with Swarovski beads. You are not allowed to use the brand name. I don't know if that blows your mind as much as it blows mine, but again, their name is such a big deal. So to not use their name, like, I asked her, I said, is it going to be kind of like a wink wink, like these are Austrian crystals on this dress and everybody knows what you're talking about? And she was super nice. She was like, you know, I really don't know how people are going to handle this. She's like, that's not really our job. Our job is just basically, you know, to kind of vet people who are buying and make sure they sign the contract. And, you know, so basically if a vendor purchased from them and then went to their website and put dresses with Swarovski crystals, they could be in some pretty big legal trouble. So that's where we stand as of today. Now, this is an ever-changing situation. We could wake up tomorrow and there could be a new statement from Swarovski and they could completely undo all of this. So as of today is March 4th. As of today, March 4th, this is the information that I've gathered so far. So for those of us that rely on Swarovski crystal elements, you got till September 2021 to figure it out, to either stock up or decide another stone you're gonna go with. There are alternatives to Swarovski like Preciosa. I will list a couple of brands that I like from Amazon online that they're not the same quality as Swarovski. Swarovski is a name because they are high quality and they are beautiful, beautiful crystal. But I've done some costumes with $8 stones on Amazon, and I'm gonna put a little clip right here of the dress I just did. Like, I still get a really, really beautiful result from those cheaper crystals. So I'm gonna put the links below. I'm gonna put a link to any websites I used in this research. And, you know, if you watch this video in 2 months and it's all completely wrong, please don't come for me. But if there is a big update in terms of this story, I will certainly post another video to update everybody, because I know a lot of businesses are going to be affected by this. And, you know, everyone was affected by the turn of events last year, and, you know, some businesses closed, some businesses are hanging on by a thread, some had to restructure. So I by no means wish any, you know, ill will or anything towards Swarovski. They got to do what they got to do to stay in business, and I want all those people to keep their jobs. So, you know, I would love to be a fly on the wall of the office when they made that decision, just because it really affects a lot of other smaller businesses. It has a very large ripple effect. So anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed this video and this update. This is probably the closest thing I'll ever come to tea in the crafting world. I really thought this was going to be a really simple explanation, but it wasn't. It was a pretty big rabbit hole I ended up down. And oh, before I sign off, one extra comment there. Nail crystal elements. Yes, the company that I spoke to, again, Harman, they said they are still able to sell like the crystal elements that are used in nail art. But again, if they sell them to a nail salon, that nail salon cannot say, we are putting Swarovski crystals on your nails. I really am curious to see how this all pans out. So thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you liked my content, please make sure you hit the subscribe and the notify button. And my channel can always benefit from sharing it out to your friends and other people in this community that you think might find this information useful. And as always, happy sewing.